What's going on out there with New York City? What's going on out there? Welcome to the Lethal Truth. Welcome to the Lethal Truth. Tuning in, tuning in. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Whew, mouth is a little dry there. Oh man, I had a lot to do today. But thank you for tuning in right now. I knew you could have been anywhere. I'm here a little early. I'm here for a little early, you know. Normally I'd be on a little later, but I got a lot of things to do today. Yo, I've been on the internet and the things I have ran across have been blowing my mind. But I'm gonna wait for about 2 more minutes. I'm gonna wait for some people to tune in. First, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I know I've been away for like a week. I've been a lot busy. Yo, I don't know how y'all do it. I've been so busy. I've been running around. I'm about to be a grandfather again. You know, I had a party. I've been running around. So excuse me. But I've been on tune. I've been in tune with what's going on in the world. You know? So thank you again for those that's tuning in right now. We're gonna give it about a minute or two for some people to tune in. Cause today we're gonna talk about Big U. I mean, that's the man that's all over the internet right now. Big U. Man, this fella, whew, I don't even know where to begin with this guy. This guy, man. Mm-mm-mm. But I'm gonna wait for some people to tune in first, you know? Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Peace, Sean Banks, peace. Hit that like button. I'm over here drinking some. Nah, I'm drinking some water. But yo, I hope everybody been having a good day. I've been having a blessed day. Thank you for waking up. You know, God woke us up. You know, so that's a good thing. That means that you've been having a good day. You know, it depends how you've been carrying yourself. You know, how your vibe and your energy is to depend on how you've been having a good day. You know, whatever problem you've been having, it depends on how you carry yourself and how you deal with it. You know, if you let somebody else shift your energy, it depends on how you want them to mess up your day. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes I let people mess up my day. I'm learned to control my energy. You know what I'm saying? To make sure I have a good day. But now let's get into it, right? So, you know, before I want to get into it, to Big U, you know, it's really interesting with gang banging, right? Because on the West Coast, well, first I'm gonna start with the East Coast because I'm really talking about Big U. On the East Coast, the street gangs is mostly they deal mostly on a nation, meaning they're not a street gang. Their gangs are like scattered. They have a set that they represent by a name, and it's different locations that they live and they meet up with one another. That's a nation, right? On the West Coast, and hold on, and pertaining to that on the East Coast, their loyalty is a little bit different because they don't grow up with one another. Because they join the gang and they're from over here, they're from over there. So the loyalty is a little bit different. So their unity is not that tight. On the West Coast, it's mostly, or it is, a street gang, which is a neighborhood gang. It's not a nation. It's a neighborhood. So they grow up with one another. So, like, I seen a video where Nipsey Hustle and he was talking to Puff, and Puff was like, yo, how would I know where you from? So Nipsey was like, well, you know, if, you know, like you from the East Coast, I'll be like, yo, well, I'm from the West Coast and you don't know where I'm from. And I'm like, yo, I'm from LA. But if you from LA and I'm from LA, I'd be like, yo, I'm from the 60s. So you automatically know where I'm from. And you know from that neighborhood I grew up. So either I'm affiliated in that gang or I'm just a part of that gang growing up. So I have family in it. So either way, I'm representing that gang. You know what I'm saying? It's guilty by association. So the loyalty is more tight. It's more of a family thing. It's not a nation. It's a family thing. So it's different over there. So now, this is why the gang banging over there is so hard. You see what I'm saying? So when Suge Knight and them got into hip hop with it, it was so like we were so taken aback about it, like, yo, y'all coming off so hard. Because even though we had our street gangs over here, it wasn't like over there. They came over here with it like a storm. Like they took shit over. You know what I'm saying? So now we know how Suge Knight and them felt because they broadcast this gangbanging shit. Like they was pretty much like, don't get me wrong, you know, they had Eazy-E and they had other, you know, other MCs like MCA, Ice-T. They broadcast the gangbanging, but not to that effect where they brought a criminal enterprise into shit. You know what I'm saying? They just represented like, yo, I'm from this neighborhood, and that was that. They left that gangbanging shit really into the streets, and they moved out of it, and they made their money into something into legit. They just left it. They got smart. They didn't bring no type of, because you know when you start to bring your neighborhood into your business, into your future, and they ain't really trying to bring no vision, they tend to fuck up your future. And now, whatever dirt they do falls in your lap. Now it's guilty by association. Now you locked up or you got all types of lawsuits and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it just messes up everything you do. So everybody should know the mistakes of everybody that comes ahead of them, right? So we already know the shit that Suge Knight went through. We know what Tupac went through, right? So here comes Big U. Oh my God. So, you know, they said that, well, according to Big U out of his own mouth, right? He said that, you know, he grew up, you know, in Slauson. He grew up as a rolling 60s with his father. And he was a co-defendant with his father in a drug trade. And he, you know, he got caught up in a 23-year bid with his father in a prison. And he took over the drug trade in the prison. He said this on, you know, on an interview. I was like, this, like, damn, he's saying this shit, you know, okay, cool, you know. But I didn't know that he was still allegedly doing illegal activities. Because, I mean, if you're going to say that type of stuff, that's cool. That's your past. And you got a message to give to young kids. But not while you doing some illegal shit. Why would you put that type of limelight on yourself? Yo, man, this guy, then he starts a podcast called Checking In. The podcast consists of really called Checking In. He is actually doing something somewhat Suge Knight is doing. I can't even say allegedly. This is not snitching. I can't say allegedly because he actually has a podcast says Checking In or called Checking In. And Snoop Dogg is doing the intro and he's telling people, yo, listen, y'all better check in or we gonna be checking your equipment. This is what he was doing. So I can't even say allegedly. This is the truth. And this is one of the things that later on he's being indicted on. He indicted himself. He put it all out there. I was just blown away. I was like, yo, I can't believe he did this. So, you know, as time go on, you know, he ran into this guy named Rayshawn, young brother, right? And this young cat, he started the Rays. Yeah, just stupid. I know. Just yo, I couldn't believe it. He was just broadcasting crime. He was just I just can't believe it. I didn't even know it because I don't really be too much on this. And now that I've stopped doing contests, I do, but I never knew this. You know what I'm saying? But now this young kid named Rayshawn Williams. He's young brother. He was playing football. Big U took a liking to him because Rayshawn was close to his son. So they was both playing football. He was a coach to the young brother. Took a liking to him. He was like a father figure. So his aunt let him move in with Big U because he rhymed. You know, love hip hop. Hey Monica, what's up? What's up? And as time go on, I think it was about 2021, he started to fly Ray Sean out to Las Vegas. Well, prior to that, he moved him in, but he started to wear one of his son's chains and he didn't like that. So allegedly, he kicked him out because he did it without permission. I don't know. I wasn't there. That's the story. Allegedly, I have to say that. So I guess along the line, they made up, and he said, you know what? I'm gonna invest some money in you. I'm gonna fly you out to Las Vegas. You're gonna make some tracks. You're gonna make me some money. We gonna make some money, and let's do this work. So I guess the young brother was like, all right, cool. I see a vision. I'm not making no money, and I'm doing nothing with myself. Let's do this. Flew him out there. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the brother got distracted, but I know flying him out there costs, Airbnb costs, paying for food costs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever expenses the young brother, especially studio time, engineer, producing, that cost. And then he wasn't showing up for studio time. I guess that was really irking Big U, that and Big U, from what I heard, from what's the brother name? Tiny that played on Friday. He said he got that character from Big U. So imagine, so imagine the mindset who the young brother's dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, whoa. You know what I mean? You like you messing up some money, young brother. So I'm assuming along the way there was some words that was being had. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you messing up my money. And, young brother, he was like, whatever, because allegedly he made a diss track. You know what I'm saying? I don't have it. I'm sorry, unfortunately. I heard it. He didn't say Big U name, but allegedly Big U didn't, he didn't feel comfortable with the song, and he flew out there and he approached the brother about that, and they had some words, and I'm assuming along the way they said that they told the brother that you're gonna make some more music, and he said okay. So he packed his bags, and then they took him to the studio. There's court records saying that Big U phone signal was, disabled at the time they was going to the studio. And while that happened, Rayshawn was end up missing. You know, staff was told to go home, and then they found Rayshawn on Interstate 15, shot up multiple times, and his body was dumped. And allegedly, they found later on Big U phone signal turned back on outside of the studio, and later on the next day, and furthermore, what's the next day? No, excuse me. The next week, the studio equipment was removed, and the aunt called like, yo, he's missing, And he was like, yo, I didn't see him. But she knew that he was supposed to be working with him. and she never heard from him again. So she knew something was up. You know what I'm saying? Because normally he used to call her every week. You know what I'm saying? Just to check up on her because he had a nephew. You know what I'm saying? He was taking care of him. But he stopped them phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? I gotta say that. You know what I mean? Because it's some street shit going on. You know what I mean? All of this is going on because right after that, he got into it with Nipsey Hustle. You know what I mean? And it's real strange that I'm talking about Nipsey because when Nipsey got killed, you know, I remember his mother speaking. I believe it was on the BET Awards, and she was like, "When my son got assassinated," and I was like, "Assassinated?" I was like, "Man, he got killed by some crap." You know what I'm saying? Because when you use the term assassinated, it means someone is plotting against you. It really means a political assassination. You know what I'm saying? It really means something very highly assassinated. Like it's a political assassination, put it like that. You know what I mean? So when I looked at that, I was like, nah, I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? But now after the fact, I started to get a lot of information about Nipsey Hussle and his background and where he was going and who he was involved with. I kind of understand why she put the term or used the phrase and the word assassination. You know, Nipsey Hussle and his brother Black Sam, they grew up on Slauson, right? Rolling 60 neighborhood. And Big Sam, his brother, they just look just like Nipsey, this older. He wasn't with that gangbanging stuff. You know what I'm saying? He was on some street stuff, but he was like his own man. You know what I'm saying? He ran the streets, he did his own thing. He didn't need no crew. He had his little man, he had his team, but he wasn't with all that, he wasn't with that ignorant stuff, which means unaware. He wasn't trying to deal with that. He was different. You know what I mean? So in the process of that, Nipsey was rhyming, but he was taking care of Nipsey, trying to keep Nipsey away from the street, away from the gangs, because it was hard. They was in the 60s hood. You know what I mean? So Nipsey, he took it, he was following his brother, so he stayed away from the gang. But Black Sam, he went to jail. From what I heard, they buried some money. This is some deep shit. While they was hustling, Black Sam, he buried, I believe, 250,000 in their mother's backyard in the safe. And Nipsey was he was in the game. He was rhyming. He was in the industry, and at that time he wasn't too much into the Crip thing, but he was leaning there. But Black Sam had him. But once Black Sam went to jail, it was over. The streets had him. So he started banging. But once Black Sam came home, it was kind of too late because now he was knee deep in the neighborhood, which is the 60s. He was representing the hood. He was out there. You know what I'm saying? Now, once you into gangbanging, you can't just leave like that. And even if you want to leave like that, it's hard because now you just embraced a whole nother. How can I explain it? If you never gangbang, you will never understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like a whole nother family. Even though it's crazy and you're out your mind, that energy and that vibe is unexplainable. You know what I'm saying? It's a sense of connection. You really look at it as your real family. You know what I'm saying? So, that shit has a hold on you to the point where you really undecided. And I believe Nipsey was undecided to the point where eventually along the way, he started to get wise. You know what I'm saying? And, Black Sam, when he came home, like I said, he tried to stir him away from that. You know, he tried to stir him away from all the crack shit because, you know, he saw the downfall of Tupac. He saw the downfall of Shook. He saw the downfall of many that came in this on the internet in front of the magazines, throwing all this up and getting indicted. He didn't want that shit to happen to his brother. And I noticed the change. If you notice, Nipsey started to change his diet. This when I started to notice a change. If you notice, he got on the Breakfast Club, he started to say, yo, I started to follow Dr. CB's diet. I was like, what the fuck? This is when I started to know who Dr. CB was, dead serious. I was like, who the hell is Dr. CB? He's like, yo, Dr. CB, what? Who was that? Because he was like, yo, I was so tired because he was like, I was always on tour. You know what I'm saying? Because you on tour, you up all day. Every day. You know what I'm saying? So he's smoking, he's drinking, he partying, he doing whatever he's doing, you know what I'm saying? Which I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's busy. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, I'm exhausted. And you know, when you running around, you're not eating correctly. You're always eating fast food. I know because I'm not busy like him. And I run around, and when I'm outside, sometimes I'm eating fast food. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm eating other people's cooking. You know, so I know he's eating fast. You know what I mean? So he was like, yo, I was just feeling so tired. So he started to change his diet. He stopped drinking, he stopped smoking. He started to eat properly. He was like, yo, I started to get a lot of energy. Then he started speaking spiritually. Then he started to unite the gangs. Now, in the process of that, he has a whole nother side that is not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? He has a whole nother side that's banging, that ain't with all that healthy shit. They ain't with all that I ain't smoking the weed shit. They ain't with all that I ain't drinking no Henny shit. They ain't with all that I ain't trying to fuck no bitches shit. This is how they thinking, excuse my language. I gotta talk like this because this is how they think. See what I'm saying? They ain't thinking like that. What you mean, cuz? What you mean getting out the hood and you trying to do things with London and you trying to, you know what I'm saying? They trying to stay in the hood. He's trying to do things and unite unite the red and the blue. They like, yo, you forgot we've been killing each other 30, 40 something years. No, he like, yo, chill. Like, this is never gonna end. As you can see, you can't kill them, they can't kill us. It has to end. It's never gonna end. All we do is killing us, and guess what? That real enemy is killing us. But you got some that's ignorant, that's not trying to hear that. Then you got some big politics involved, as Black Sam said in this interview, that, you know, they ain't trying to hear that. You know, because, you know, the big politics, they don't like to be outshined, as they say in the 48 Laws of Power, #1. Never outshine the master. Because see, when Nipsey come through the hood, he the big dude. He got the big cars. He got the Hollywood chick in the car, on his arm. He got the money. He got the fame. He got the houses. He outshining the master. Wrong move. And now you beefing with the master on the label. Now you taking money out the master mouth. It's too much problems. Wrong move. Now, I'm not saying that the brother did something, but I'm just saying what everybody else is saying. I'm reporting that's already out there. I'm reporting it late. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't doing no snitching here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just reporting what they said. You know what I mean? So, you know, Nipsey, he was thinking different. You know, he trying to think for himself now because he seen that he was being used. The big homie was using him. Trying to step away. Now his big brother in his ear is making him a man. Like, yo, I see what you saying, big bro. Yo, this dude's trying to use me, man. And then when he come through the hood and he's showing love, he's outshining the master because Big U is the man in the hood. He the big homie. Now, when he come through, it ain't about Big U. It's about Nipsey, and he got Lauren London on his arm. Man, fuck Big U, yo, Nipsey. And Nipsey could take them places. Big U ain't trying to take them places. Now, meanwhile, Big U doing all this other crazy shit. So, allegedly, as Nipsey is trying to break away and has broke away, well, in the process of breaking away, he makes a song dissing Big U. Big U hears the song and he approaches Nipsey about the song. And according to Big U, I can't even say allegedly because this guy, he's just reckless. He admits to the attack online, as he called discipline, because he said, I ain't a rapper, I'm a scrapper. That's what he said. I didn't say it. He's admitting all kind of shit. He says him and Nipsey squared up. That's what he said, squared up. And I don't know who won because I heard Nipsey got the best of him. I heard he got the best of Nipsey. But I did hear Black Sam pulled that gun out and let off a couple of rounds and everybody got disciplined. I know that much. I know they got to an attention. I know that Black Sam. I heard Black Sam ain't playing no games. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he sure did. You know what I'm saying? Black Sam got that everybody's attention after that. You know what I mean? So allegedly, through politics, they saying that they manipulated Eric Holder, who, they said who get busy in the hood too. Had words with Nipsey. That, Big U manipulated the situation. This is what it's an indictment and all that's going on now, and he manipulated Eric Holder, paid Eric Holder to kill Nipsey, you know what I'm saying? Brick Baby got on Adam 22 with Whack 100, and this dude Whack 100, he's like DJ Vlad. He's always asking about fucking criminal cases online. Like, I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they be calling him police. Why you always asking about criminal cases on fucking line? You know what I'm saying? I talk about it after the fact. He be asking this shit. I don't care. But Brick Baby, he said that he got a call from Big U, and he said, yo, man, he said, yeah, they killed Nipsey. And he was like, what? He said, yeah, they killed Nipsey. He said, yo, they killed Nipsey. He said, nah, man, you sure? He said, yeah. He said, all right, hold on. So he said he hung up the phone and he called Nipsey. And Nipsey picked up the phone. He said, yo, man, yo, cuz, it just said, niggas killed you, man. He said, no, cuz, I'm here, man. He said, oh, okay. And hung up the phone. He said, man. He said, so Wax said, did you call Big U back? He said, nah, because I thought, because, got the wrong, information. It was about nothing. He said, then next thing I know, 30 minutes later, Nipsey got killed. I said, oh, shit. So Wax like, wow. Oh shit, I'm listening to this. I'm looking at this shit like they talking about a whole murder case on fucking line. Look at this shit. It's not funny, but I'm just saying, look at the shit that's going on in the internet now. This is how all these dudes is indicting each other. This is how Big U indicted himself. What's going on right now? He indicted himself. He indicted himself. And then after the fact, all these dudes now is talking. Everything he's saying that himself. When Nipsey got killed, right? They were supposed to have like a memorial, like a funeral for him in the hood. So instead of, while in the process was, they were saying Big U did it. Instead of Big U holding it in Nipsey's hood, he had it in a whole nother blood hood And people was like, what the hell? Why would you do that? That shit didn't even make no sense. And then while he was live, people was on there saying justice for Nipsey because they was blaming him. And he laughing saying, ha ha ha, yo, you hear that shit because they saying justice for Nipsey. Ha 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 ha. I was looking at this shit and said, he did not just say this shit. And you know what? The feds taking everything I just told you and they putting it in all his indictment. This is everything I'm telling you. This is what he's being charged with right now. This is what he's being charged with right now. This is just the murders. I ain't even talking about the kingpin extortion charge. This is the checking in charge. They're using this whole podcast against him. The checking podcast, yeah, they're using that against him. It's called the kingpin extortion charge. Check that shit out. This is crazy. He just indicted his whole self. Oh man, let me take a drink of water for this shit. Y'all all right out there? That's why you're not supposed to be talking about criminal shit if you're not doing criminal shit. If you're not doing criminal shit and you want to talk about criminal shit, that's cool. And you got a message to the youth, why not to do criminal shit? You don't talk about criminal shit if you're doing crime. You do not put no light on yourself. You do not wear jewelry and you do not flash money on the goddamn internet if you're doing crime. What's wrong with y'all? If they keep showing you every day on TV, on the news, on the internet, everybody talks about it. Zip the drip, they talk about it every day about all these indictments and you're still doing it. Yo, oh man. So now, yeah, Brick Baby. Oh man. Yeah, so he talked about another murder. This one blew my mind. He was talking about PnB Rock. Because I thought it was just a robbery. But the way he put it, the way he painted it, he wasn't in on it, but the way he painted it as Big U's MO, right? Because DJ Khaled came to California, right? Came to LA. And he came to LA with the blessings of Nipsey Hustle as a front line because they did a video. And as Big U's podcast check in, DJ Khaled didn't check in because he got the blessings of Nipsey to come to the hood to do the video. So Nipsey said, you ain't got to do no check-in with me. Big U like, hold on, I'm the big homie. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's protocols. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, outside of, in music is cool. Outside of music, it's still protocols. But, you know, I guess Nipsey wasn't respecting that, you know what I mean? So, you know, it had words behind that. You know what I mean? That's the check-in. So, Break Baby said he was in the restaurant. Him and Big U. And PnB Rock was in the restaurant. And PnB Rock ain't never check in. And so happened, dudes came in to rob him. He didn't want to give up the jewelry. They let him have it. Big U was in the restaurant. Big U runs LA. Big U is the big Rolling 60. That shit wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was saying. You know what I mean? So that's an indictment. Yeah, because Brick Baby is telling. Yeah, that's an indictment. Shit. So he got about 3 bodies right now. We talking about. Oh man. Yo, we ain't even talking about the human trafficking and the sex fraud case. I mean, the human trafficking and the money fraud case yet. In the wire fraud case. God damn. He's done. And he's denied bail. He's done. He's done. They try to call him the Blue Suge Knight of LA. He worse than Suge. Hey, yo, at least Suge was smarter than that. Nah, you gotta come on now. Nah, you can't come on now. This dude, man. Oh, God. He's just... They call him the murderous, extortionist kingpin. I ain't never heard that. I actually never heard anyone broadcast their crime like that on the internet. That's crazy. Y'all have to stop, really, y'all have to learn from these dudes' mistakes. And I used to think that it was the young dudes. Real talk, I used to say, it's these young brothers, they stupid, it ain't my generation. This dude is in my generation. He is one of the most dumbest dudes that I have ever encountered on the internet, or as, I can't even say a celebrity because it's not real fun. It's not funny. It's sad, really. It really is, because he was in a great position to do great things. It really is. He really was in a great position to do great things, and he just fumbled the ball. I really never understood how can someone be in a position like that, right? To get out of the community or in a situation that they're in and come back to help those in the community and build the community. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to tear the community down or trying to tear your legacy down by doing crime. I always say this now, that the only one that wins in the game is the streets. That's it. That's the only winner. Nobody else wins. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm a correct myself. 2, the streets and the government. Because government people don't go to jail. I think they don't go to jail. They only pay high fines and they get pardoned. Am I right? They don't go to jail. Look at Joe Biden, whole family got pardoned. But look at us. Big U is done. See, Snoop Dogg was smart. He was smart. Snoop was smart. He said, I saw that whole thing coming. And you know what? When that whole death row thing happened, I never heard Snoop say anything crazy. I never heard him say anything disrespectful. He always kept quiet. And when that whole thing fell, he was out. That's why Pac ain't like him. He was like, we beefing, we saying this, this motherfucker ain't saying nothing. Because he wasn't stupid. And he had children. Pac ain't had no kids. Of course you don't care. He got children. And look where he at right now. You don't hear him talking about no Chris. I mean, he may throw his little stuff up, but we all know Snoop ain't serious. You know what I'm saying? Because the NBC already portrayed now. Come on, man. He up there cooking potatoes on Martha Stewart. We ain't taking him serious. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? So, look, man. Y'all have a good day. I had a nice talk with y'all. You know what I'm saying? God bless. Tell a friend. I'll be back with y'all another time. Salute. God bless. Later.